right.
All right, all right, all right.
All right. Welcome
To
to
church,
Church
folks
Folks
be
Be
talking.
Talking
Launch note edition.
Edition.
Bang, bang, bang.
McDonald's, hit me
Listen,
up.
man.
Call me. We
Listen,
drink enough. We'll sponsor you all day. Sponsor us to sponsor you.
McDonald's. You all right?
Well, we are excited to come to you guys today with the Lunch Note Edition. We are starting our real life series. If you followed us and you've seen some of our merch, we talk about real life, real experiences, real relationships. And so we want to get into something I think that I've been having a reoccurring discussion with my friend group. And I think it's important to get a male perspective and a female perspective, and just a couple perspective, and even just hear what you guys are thinking about this. So we are talking today about, are you doing what you were made
Made to
for?
do.
Are you
Made.
doing what you were created for? All right. And so today we're going to start off with a quote. But before we do that, I am part one co-host, Dr. Frankie Graham Brown, Dr. Frankie. And this is my lovely, sexy 51-year-old husband, Dr. Pedro Graham Brown. I knew that you would enjoy that.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In response, we're donning our it's Black History Month, so what more than to show our appreciation for Black professors that matter and
Black preacher matters.
Black preachers matter.
Code of the day.
Of the
Today,
day,
Evan, what's first name?
Iana Van Zant. Remember
Ivana.
the lady from Fix
Yeah,
My
no,
Life?
yeah, I have a problem pronouncing her name. But anyways,
I
I think
think
she's
most
phenomenal.
people do.
Life doesn't actually knock you down.
Hmm.
It does, however, provide you with many opportunities to evaluate your standing in life, what you stand on and what you stand for, how you stand within yourself and for yourself. Ah, very good.
It's a good one.
But we stand on the rock
It's
of
what we stand
Jesus
on.
Christ.
But in order to well, in addition to standing on the rock, you have to have a platform and you have to stand your ground.
And that platform is the gospel.
All right, so we're going to talk today about, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you doing what you think you were born to do in your life? And so I wanted to talk about that. Like I said, I've had a lot of discussions with my friend group, and we're all 40 plus professionals.
Even in the 50s.
Well, not even close.
You're
We're at the
close.
lower end of the 50s. We haven't even hit 45. And we're asking ourselves,
Are you 43?
are we? No, I'm not.
You 44?
Oh, I am 43.
Oh,
I was.
I got her on that one. I got her. I got her.
You know, I hate
I got her on
I
that
don't
one. I set her up
I'm
for that.
honestly really stopped counting after 40. It doesn't even matter anymore. I'm just counting by tens at this point. So we've just been discussing, what are we doing? Why are we here? Are we more than what we're designed to do? Or are we more than what we're actually doing? And what does that show up as? How do we fix this? Or how do we tap into untapped potential, right? And just for those who are watching, Dr. Pedro is actually, he has notes on his phone, I'm hoping, and looking for scriptures rather than scrolling and ordering off of Amazon on his cell phone. Am I right, babe? Maybe he is on Amazon.
No, I'm not on Amazon. I'm just looking for a perfect scripture that kind of speak to what my wife was saying.
All right.
What have you created to do? Right. So, and I love what God said to the prophet Jeremiah. He said, "Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctify you, and I ordain you a prophet to the nation. So three things: God knew him, God sanctified him, and God has ordained him. So that is the purpose of what we were created.
Well, I'm so glad that Jesus and God knows, but sometimes, Lord, we don't know.
We don't know,
Right?
and that is
And
true.
we go around this journey called life, and we still don't think that we're fulfilling our purpose. I know I've had that, and
But
I'm
do you,
still having that.
yeah, but do you think life
Conversation with
is,
myself.
do you think that the life is complicated or life should be easy? When I say
Both.
both, right?
I think it's complicated until you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and then it gets easier.
I think the complication comes about when we are being placed in some expectation that we were not created in the first place to do.
Well, who's creating the expectations?
Other people, sometimes
Okay.
family member, some family member wants you to be such X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be successful.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can understand part of it is that you're trying to elevate yourself out of poverty, right? So that you don't repeat the generational impoverishment in your family. I do get that.
I think do you think that the Black community is the only community that really has that burden to do above and better than the previous generation, because there's been such a deficit in quality of life?
You went to a business endeavor in New Jersey with my daughter, and something you said that you brought back, that the plethora of experience that you saw there.
Yeah.
And one of the things you said that most Black people are not exposed to resources.
Oh, most definitely.
Right. So when we as people of color have not been exposed to the potentiality that we can do, because let's face it, and everybody be saying, Black people are very creative.
Very much so.
Very creative. You gave a Black man a junk car and he turned that into a hydraulic car.
Pimp your ride. Let's go, exhibit.
So the resources are not provided where we can reach the potential that God has created us.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, do you think that's only a Black family aspiration to do better? Because we are, us as parents, we try to map our kids' lives out because we've lived the life of without, and so we try to provide them more. And then they have that pressure.
Well, you don't want to give our kids too much.
Do you think that's a cultural thing?
That is
happened, or was it just a parental thing?
It's a parental thing. I think both. It's a cultural thing and parental. Because culturally, if you look at our history, being enslaved for over 400 years, and disenfranchised to the point that we are not reached where we're supposed to be, and even though we try to get there, other situation come about and kind of shatter our hope and dream.
I think
so. It's both. It's both.
Yeah, I think exactly, just to mirror off what you're saying, is that maybe all families definitely do that, but there is a handful of families that actually have opportunities to give that to their children. Right. They have the network, they have the capacity, they have the equity, they have the capital, they have the resources to say, all right, I didn't get a chance to do it, but I'm gonna just set you up so you can. Versus others that say, you know what, I don't have nothing, and so you really don't have a springboard to jump off of either. Right.
And then let me just say this: is within God, providential will that everyone succeed, but unfortunately, that's not the ideal. Reality that we are facing here today because of racism and what we encounter.
And I think a lot of it too are based on our choices, because we live in New York City, and I look at the homeless population, and I know that God didn't create them to be homeless. That wasn't their destiny on purpose, right? So I have to think about, they were made for something, but some way along the lines they hit a crossroads and they made the wrong choice. And God gives you free will, right? That's the whole thing. I've set something up for you, but I'm going to let you take this path. Or this path. This path leads to destruction, right? This path leads to prosperity.
But we can understand that there are forces out there that really do not want to see one race succeed. But anyway, we don't want to get off the subject.
I mean,
But we are, it kind of lead into what we would like to talk
great.
about.
But also, I just want to say, I don't want that to be our crutch, because Black people can use that same scenario generation after generation after generation, even though it's true. But at some point, we have to take accountability for ourselves. And so that's really what we want to talk about today is, are we making the right choices?
We take accountability for ourselves also.
We need to take accountability.
Yeah, we take accountability for ourselves.
We're so quick to blame other people. Oh, well, you knew that when I took, you knew that when you gave it that opportunity that was going to be bogus, but I still made the choice to take it, right? And then look where that person is. Look where we are. So I want to talk a little bit about like career paths and jobs, and just even get a little bit into just discussions about decisions that we make in general. There's, small decisions that we make every day. Which coffee to drink, which outfit to wear. And then there are moderate decisions. What path should I take to go to work? What to eat for dinner, right? And
there will be some other decision that happen in your life that will make you make some healthy decision.
Yeah, and then bigger changes or bigger decisions that you made.
Right.
And we're going to talk a little bit about regret and what that looks like, and a couple studies. And so I want to start, well, I guess we've already started, but I want to continue the conversation just with a couple of statistics. Like, I love a good statistics. You can't ask a professor to talk about anything and not have any statistics. My brother always says, and I'm going to say, AKA Black Google, created this on his own, but I know it's been out there in the zeitgeist of just
in the Black university
information,
Black
universe.
Like that.
But my brother used to always say, and he still says it, and he says hindsight is 20/20, which means that you never really understand the reason why you make these choices until after you have done it, right? 4 out of 10 adults regret their life choices. 4 out of 10. So about 40% of adults regret the choices they have made.
That's interesting.
Almost 47%, close to half of millennials, older millennials, wish they would have chosen a different career path. And those are we talked about small choices, moderate decisions. These are large life decisions that really shape the outcome in the future of your life, in your kids' lives.
But right? One of the, I think, as I initially said, there are forces out there that sometimes allow us to be at the moment, what if, right? In the sense of, because, we were being taught, by our parents and by educational system, to say, education is important.
Right.
Okay, so you go to school.
Which it is.
Which it is. Don't get me wrong. But when you have other forces out there, political forces.
Forces that you're discussing.
When you have political forces out there, right?
Or I would say agendas to prevent.
But in the sense of, I'm saying that, we are told to go to school, education important, these jobs are on the market. Mm-hmm. You go to college, you take loans out, you graduate, and bang, those jobs are not on. And some people begin to second guess themselves now.
Repeat that? People begin to what?
Second guess themselves. Okay. I give a prime example. When I was in high school.
You're very passionate. Has this happened to you?
Oh, yes.
Are you talking about yourself?
I'm talking about myself. Okay. Because when I was, when I was in high school, you remember the old days, you go to classify section looking for jobs. Newspaper. Yes. And they just said, this available, this available.
Circle it with a pen.
Right. So they said, graduate with your diploma, bam, 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 you graduate, you get there. So, you need experience. I said, okay, then how can I get an experience if you don't hire me?
Well, that's a reoccurring.
That's a reoccurring
theme.
But
from then to
but now. The thing, then to now. But you go to college, you do what you're supposed to do. You doctorate, I'm doctorate. Now you get the job, and sometimes the economy falls. And then you have political entities that send the job overseas, and then you get stuck, and then these are the new jobs are created.
It really depends on your job, and I'll say that because I have a good group of friend circles, and they really haven't fell into that issue that you're discussing. And so again, I think it's about choices. One of the things
Like,
that
it is about choices, but
Right.
anything but you just don't know
right.
what parameters
Or
of
the issue is, especially for young Black youth, and one of the companies that I work with is that we are looking at creating a pipeline for marginalized students of color, to teach them about careers that they might never know about, that make good money, that require associate's degree, that require a master's degree, and give them avenues to figure out how to get your education paid for, that I only wish someone would have told me about, because I got $100,000 in something school debt, as does he. And we matter because we need our debt paid off, y'all. We're trying to blow up so Tyler Perry can buy us a house. Okay,
Sure.
we need that money.
No, the only way you can get that money if you have 10 kids.
Well, look, you gotta, in New York, you have to be like dirt poor in order to really make the come up. And so we fall definitely
But it's a system that's
in the
causing
middle
that,
ground.
though.
There's definitely a
that's
system
causing-
out there.
Yeah, it's causing that.
And so I agree with that. There are definitely agendas that create this wheelhouse. If you have to do this, you have to do that. But then they draw you back and say, okay, you do all this, but then you can't, right?
Right.
And so let's just get into that. So that's
Let's
what we're
get
really,
into
that's what we're
that.
talking about. Question: do you think that's
But the question now, let's ask a question though. Within that 40%, 4 to 6 people,
right?
how many did they ever say what the cultural statistic would be?
Well, it was a British poll for about 2,000 adults in the United Kingdom.
Right.
Okay, look at the United Kingdom and you'll get your answer as far as the participants.
It's interesting.
I think even so, if you maybe did a poll for an urban population, I think the numbers will be higher.
But
You're at 4 to 10 with most Caucasians, most people who are in British culture. But I believe if you went and asked most people of color, the numbers will probably be 6 out of 10.
it's interesting, right?
And I'm assuming, because I can just ask 10 people that I know, and they're like, I hate it here.
It's interesting because there's 3 articles that my wife sent me, and I
Right.
was reading them today. And one of the common thread that I'm looking at,
Mm-hmm.
is okay, the purpose behind it, right? What would you say to your younger self back then, right? And what I'm looking for is in the sense of, okay, is it happiness? Is what give them happiness? Because people are in successful jobs and they're not happy.
Right.
So as I read these articles, I was trying to look for that, and I don't think I did.
Well, I know the articles that we were looking at are more career-based,
Right.
just general life-based, and happiness is a form of that. So if we're there, let's just go to regret, and then we'll go back to some questions. 4 to 10 adults, as we said, according to 42,000 British adults. 12,000 British adults. I gotta look at my notes here. Said that they regretted their life choices. One of the biggest life choices they regretted is not traveling enough. I remember when I was 20s, me and my girls, and each generation has a different thing, but traveling now has become so much of a culture in itself. Black people travel agents. It's really had a broad resurgence.
It's a business.
Like in the 2000s, the 2000s, we were young professionals, and we never thought about going to Cancun, Brazil, or Argentina, or Spain. We were just happy to go to Texas. We're happy to go to other places. And truth be told, I'm 43 and I've still never been to California, which I am dying to go to, right?
Don't say you're
But
done.
I have at least,
You might
which I'm excited to go to. Okay. But I have a niece who is 33 and she's been all over the world. Literally probably in the last 6 months. And I envy that. I'm just like,
I mean, we're proud of her. We're proud of her.
I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just
Yeah.
like, she's living that life. She's getting out there, seeing other cultures, and I wish. And that's one of the major things that adults our age. We're Gen X, right? Gen X is between 1965 and 1970.
But the other thing, though,
Can I?
yeah,
sorry?
Go ahead.
We're Gen X, me and you both. And we were born between 1965 and 1979. And our generation really wasn't built for that.
Generation X.
We're turnkey kids. I went to school. My mom was at work. I literally raised myself. You know, my mom's passed, so I can say that. But she gave me the instructions to do that, and I was able to be responsible for that. So I never had a desire to do the things that my niece does because I just never thought that that was available to me. And that's the biggest thing. We never know that these opportunities are available. Go ahead before I move into my next point.
But they, I want to share some regrets too, but
Okay.
those may be different from yours, what you
Okay.
got. But here's the thing: the key thing is though, are we making an impact in with our life, with the decision that we are making, right? That's it. That's the goal. Don't you think so?
Well, one of my
I mean,
questions.
I think it's good to do the traveling and stuff like that, but what is the impact that you leave into the next generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, but you really can't leave an impact until you feel like you fulfill what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's my point.
And so I don't know. I don't think those two even. I think they're on.
I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I
I'm
think they're
thinking
thinking way too deep about
way
it.
too deep about it.
And one has nothing to do with the
Okay,
other,
come
right?
on, come on, Pastor P, come back, come back,
Let's go.
come back, come
So
back.
let's talk about regrets real quick.
So one of the thing in the article you sent me,
I'm just going to give a definition. You got that on yours?
no, I don't have a definition, but go
Can I
ahead,
say
go with
that
the
real quick?
definition. Yes.
Most people, and we obviously talk about regrets quite often and haphazardly, especially as we live this life and think about so many things that we haven't accomplished. But a regret is a negative emotion you feel when reflecting on past decisions and wishing you had done something differently. So before you jump into it, do you think that social media attributes to people having life regrets? Has social media really put that out there to make people think that the life they're living isn't valuable enough?
Listen, social media has opened a window where you can see into the world of worlds, right? So
Of reality?
of
or not?
reality, and sometimes it's unfortunate now that people are basing their success and what they're seeing.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, yes, it'd be good to travel
Yeah.
places and that, and now people feel as if, okay, if I'm not doing that,
Right.
then I'm not really happy. I don't feel as if
So
I'm
your
making it.
answer is yes?
Yeah, social media, I mean, it's good and bad. Don't get me wrong, it's good and bad because all of us should feel inspired, right?
Oh yeah.
To go places, you know, not, I mean,
Silly places. I'm just saying, do you think that what's out there in the internet, does it attribute to you maybe regretting something that you didn't do in your life?
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
But you keep talking about travel. I'm not talking about just travel.
Not just travel, but just to see other things that being broadcast
So
on
let
the
me ask you a
social
question.
media.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any life regrets?
My life, you know, it's funny. Wow, one of my greatest life regrets. As I was reading the articles, I guess I'm thinking too deep
You
at time. But one of the and this is what trigger these regrets right here. Trigger it,
Okay.
is that one of my life regrets is that I didn't get the opportunity, you know, to really sit at my father present, right?
Okay.
But look at example. Let me tell you why I said what I said. He said, one of the regrets is that I wish I stay in touch with my friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I have that connection, right?
Is that your only regret?
I mean, not only my regrets, but one of my regrets that I wanted.
But that's wishing you had done something differently. And I don't really think that's a regret because you didn't really get the opportunity to do that because you didn't know who your father was. So that's really not something that you could have controlled. Regrets are more something of decisions that you could have made.
Okay.
There really wasn't anything
Yeah, I know
that
what you're
you
saying.
have
Probably I'm just
handle
thinking
over.
too. Probably I was reading it too much into
Yeah.
it. Probably so.
That's
probably
nothing
so.
that you could have really. I'm sure if you had the opportunity, even if you knew that ahead of time, you would have jumped on that chance. Maybe after the anger and all
Well,
that.
one of the regrets
But I'm just saying
okay.
choices that you did or did not make.
Well, one of the choices was presented to me was a friend of mine of the family from Africa who wanted to take me to South Africa. And I mean, I was looking forward to go,
Mm-hmm.
but came to find out a month or a year later that he died.
Oh.
So I didn't really have the opportunity.
So are you regretting his loss or the trip?
I mean, both.
I mean, We keeping it real.
No, I'm keeping it real. Both.
Keep it real.
Both. Because,
Yeah.
he wanted me to go with him to South Africa for me to experience it.
What do you think would have
Yeah.
happened if you would have had that opportunity to go to South Africa with your friend? Do you think that your outlook on life would have been different? You would have made different career choices? You would have made different. You probably would have met like an African queen and become like a prince. What are you thinking?
When you read on something
Yeah.
all your life, right, about Africa, the continent of Africa, the history, the richness, and to literally be there
Mm,
it's like your reading become a reality.
yeah.
For example,
Okay.
you remember we took our daughter to see
Frozen on Ice.
not Frozen on Ice,
Oh.
but Zolo, and Zolo was young. What's that show we used to know?
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yo Gabba Gabba. And I tell you, she would always watch Yo Gabba Gabba on TV.
We would always watch.
I watch
Yeah.
it. She never. I was knowing.
Yo Gabba
Yo Gabba
Gabba.
Gabba. So my wife and I decided to surprise her for her birthday.
Mhm.
Now they were in town. Was it for her birthday?
It wasn't for her birthday.
No, it wasn't for her birthday, but it was in
February.
town, right.
End of February. End of January, February.
And we took her. Let me tell you, it's like she couldn't believe it. She said, I am actually here in person
Yeah.
seeing Yo Gabba Gabba
Like I've
perform.
seen it afar, and then I actually get to experience
To experience
the
right
land.
now, to be in the present
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
And when she saw it was a show, she just shocked.
Shot. Pure and utter.
I mean,
shot.
she stood there for at least for 5 seconds.
Like 5 minutes. She was like,
Yeah. So I use that in a sense, for me to be there,
Yeah.
where my ancestors from,
yeah.
it would make
Ancestors from South Africa, though.
for me. Yes, not because I'm on my light skin. Let's get that correct now. I'm from Jamaica.
Okay.
All right now. Yes, I did my
Ancestry
my
DNA
my
says
ancestry
different,
research. Yes, I have some
I'll
white
let
in
you
me,
have
I have some black in
I'll
me.
let you have it.
But I would love to go to Africa and
So that's your regret.
yeah, I would love to
Yeah.
because the regret that he died and I
Yeah.
didn't have the opportunity.
I had
to.
that feeling when I went to Disney World for the first time. My mom took me when I was 21, and I literally cried when I saw the Magic Kingdom. It's so corny, but you have to. If you've ever been to Disney World, you know. Not land in California. In Disney World.
So,
no.
so that was your regret?
Oh, that's never that. No, that wasn't a regret.
Okay, do you have a regret?
Oh my God. I mean, I have a litany of regrets.
That's it. How
Let
many
me
litany
see.
you have?
Decisions which you had done differently. I wish I would have. I wish I would have never had washed clothes on January 1st. When I was a senior, I let my then boyfriend wash his clothes, and my mom said if you wash clothes on the first of the year, you wash somebody out of your life. And when my boyfriend washed his clothes at our house, my granddad died 2 weeks later. So I've always held that in my head. I know it's.
My God.
I know
It's-
that's a big regret. I always get mad at that, and I never let anybody wash clothes the first of the year. You know that.
No, the
But-
washing I got nothing to do with your grandma.
And it probably doesn't, but you asked.
All right.
I'm going down my list.
Oh my Lord.
Next one.
I wasn't expecting that one.
is-
To be honest with you.
I know they just like
Superstitious.
nowhere.
Oh my God.
And then what's my other regret? I wish I would have did better in college. I really hate that. Looking back now, I was such a crappy college student.
But you remember in the grief, we did
Yeah.
2 episodes on the grief.
Yeah,
You can understand that
Yeah.
the death of your dad brought
which
that.
was years.
Well, but still,
decades
it
before.
has a tremendous
But I mean,
impact.
I went to college with no plan. I went because my mom said I had to go. I applied to many.
You had no
Only
choice.
got accepted to one. Went to that one, and did absolutely nothing. I remember being on like probation the first year, and a lot of black kids was on probation, and we were all in the same meeting. We were like, "Yeah, we're cool." Just dumb. I was dumb, and I regret not taking business. I had business as my major, and
And you so
it
good
was-
at
it was
teaching
so
business.
hard that I changed it to psychology. and I regret not sticking with it because guess what? I ended up getting a master's and a doctorate in business, and I just didn't apply myself. I really didn't care.
But I understand why. There's a psychological
Yeah,
portion to that. But we don't want to get into that. But
lazy.
that's in.
I was lazy and didn't care.
But let me share.
I would have took.
If I may share some of
I wish
these
I would have did better.
regrets
That's a major regret.
in this article you send me. What are the life biggest regrets?
There's 6.
Well, this is 5 right here from the
Okay.
article you gave me. Yeah, no, this one was done in Australia in 2012,
Okay.
and a caregiver named Bonnie Weir, who wrote a book about her experience as a palliative care, and she kind of interviewed some of the patients there, and out of her interview, there were 5 regrets that these dying people told her about.
Their most common life.
And one is that I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself. Wow.
Okay.
Not the life others expect of me. And that is so true.
That's a lot to unpack.
Living your truth. Nah.
You gotta I would say living authentically.
Living authentically.
Living for
Be you right. Be you what God has called you to be. Don't let anyone put you in some kind of expectation that you are not fit.
Everybody does that.
Everybody does that.
Everybody thinks
but
they have
still
to live and act and be a certain way.
And that's true.
And it takes real grit to step outside of that box and say, I don't want to do that.
And then secondly, he said, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Wow. You see, enjoy life where God has given to us. I mean, nothing wrong working, but I saw a video on Lincoln about these politicians who were leaders. They were so overtired that they were fainting, literally fainting.
The Pennsylvania senator, Congressman John something.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He passed out during something in Washington, and now he's being treated for depression. And world leaders who were talking to the media, and they just bang, working too hard, but you're not taking care of your health, right? For what? Being busy. Just because you're busy don't mean you're being productive.
And sometimes it's not necessarily you want to be busy, but sometimes those profession comes with those criteria, right?
I mean, when you get that kind of, when you get up there, more is expected.
Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. What type of feelings?
Next. Okay.
I wish I would stay in touch with my friends.
Yeah.
Now I have a best friend back in Jamaica. His name was Peter. And no, seriously, I
want to find Peter because
I don't know if Peter died still around. But no, I did have some good friends back home in Jamaica. I really do. Ian, Peter, Gary. I mean, I have some good friends. And when I transitioned here to United States, I never really got to stay in touch with them. So I don't know what they're doing. I would love to know what they're doing with their life right now. But I just regret not maintaining, and probably I didn't know how to do that when I came here.
I was gonna say because you okay.
Now say it.
I was gonna say you really struggled with that today. I mean, I really pushed you to go out there, and you met people at the lunch. Have you called them back to check on them? No.
Has they called me back?
Does it matter? Someone has to make the initial
Actually, I
move.
did went and reach out to my pastor.
I did tweet it, but I literally just sent my friend groups I was watching a Drew show, and it was saying that the key to a healthy relationship, the key to a healthy life is having friends. And I sent that to both of my friend groups. And it's true. I don't know where I would be. We're stopping at 12. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have my friends. And so I think friends are very, very essential.
I think friends are very essential.
Friends to me are my life. My life.
Yeah, but not to prolong it. But the friends I had back home was really great. I mean, they were really great in my life. But I wish I had the opportunity.
That's a regret.
That's a regret. Yeah, that's a regret. And the last one is that I wish I had let myself be happier. It's not the material things make you happy, but
Is it though?
no, it doesn't. Because
No, it's
if it
not.
was,
I mean, that helps.
right,
I ain't gonna lie. Well, I have a few to add to that,
that's
and
it.
it's
Go ahead.
it's an article that's sister to your article. 19.3%, about 20% of people, one of their major regrets is romance, their romantic life, letting someone go that they thought they should have stayed with,
Yeah,
right?
right here. It's the same one.
Right. But you're talking about old people, so this was a little bit different, a little more younger people.
Yeah, younger people.
9%, 10 people regret not really addressing finances or learning more about financial literacy,
Mhm.
which I think is so important.
And it's so needed in the black
one of my
community.
regrets,
It's
right?
needed in the black community.
13.8% of men wish they would have chosen a different career, went down a different career path. 14% are education, and so they broke that down for gender.
What about romance?
Most men really lament over education and career,
Right,
and most women really lament over romance and family.
right. So, what's there? I'm saying I want to ask my wife live on this here. I'm supposed to be honest. Was there an individual that you regret that you did not tie the knot with? Someone in your life? You can be honest with me.
Can we do this on live TV?
Yeah, do it online.
No
name, please. Not to mention the name.
No. I definitely thought that there was someone who I was going to live the rest of my life with, and it did not work out. And as a result, my heart was broken, and I left. My heart was so broken that I left where I lived. I left Indianapolis and I moved to Kentucky.
Oh, and that's where she found me.
And then I found you.
You
So
see, it never meant to be then.
it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
But
but
I mean, I definitely thought.
I did have an individual to a female
Oh,
that I thought
was she white or black?
Spanish.
Well, I knew she wasn't black. I just wanted to double check.
Okay.
I knew that answer. Okay.
I'm versatile, you are. I'm versatile with all the females.
Coalition over here.
Hey, I'm having a
What was this? When was this? Was this high school? Was this?
No, this was in seminary.
Okay.
And I thought that we were meant to be.
Okay.
And I thought I did something I shouldn't have done.
Did you, or you thought you did?
No. Nothing sexual. Nothing, nothing
something
inappropriate. No, the thing I thought was that I didn't present myself in a way to show that I was more interested in her.
So did y'all ever date?
Well, she came on for 1 week and hang out for 1 week.
So you weren't in a relationship?
No, we were not in a relationship. But I thought, the potential was there for us.
Okay. Kind of like a missed opportunity.
A missed opportunity.
Okay,
So I kind of regret. But
yeah.
here you go. Modeling your sexy self down.
Look at that. Sashaying down the runway.
Sashaying down.
Hey.
With those sexy legs of yours.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. I think that all the loves that not all, but the loves that I've lost, all were on purpose to get to you.
But I like parenting, though.
I just do you like the greatest compliment.
I know you did. Thank you. I know.
Okay, so let me see. As we're talking about that, regrets are major. But the thing is, you can't stay in those regrets because, as we said with the quote, they are opportunities for you to learn. Like, if I would have did better in business, who knows where my life direction would have been? I probably would have been burnt out by this time. And so I enjoy my college life. I'll say that to the end of the earth.
Right.
Indiana University did me perfect. Okay, I love my PWI. I met the best people ever in the world. And I learned a lot. But it's a great story when I go back and I tell my students how I tried to do it this way. And then life changed. And then I found myself back teaching business when I couldn't even do it in undergrad. Right?
It's
a great
right.
reflection. It's a great 360, right. 180?
Yeah.
It's a great story. And so I wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Adrian R. Camilleri. He's the one who wrote this article.
Okay.
He's a senior lecturer in marketing in University of Technology in Sydney, in Australia. So I find it very interesting about this article. But one of the things that I did not want to regret going forward with my life is when we met and we broke up for 6 months. And then I began to ponder how beautiful you were. I mean, those legs to get me.
Well,
too.
you were dating somebody else.
No, I wasn't dating her. But see, until now, she still don't believe me. I don't know why.
I mean, it's okay.
Nah,
Just admit
but I'm
it.
saying, no, I wasn't dating anybody. But anyway, I still stand on.
It
No, I
definitely was sad.
I wasn't.
During our breakup.
No, you were sad, all right.
What's that?
Yeah, and I was living.
You were living La Vida Loca.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. But the point is this, as I begin to pontificate.
Ooh, that's so sick. I love when you use big words.
I know, right? Pontificate.
Oh.
Ooh, pontificate.
Pontificates.
Pontificate. Meow. but and I told myself, wow, I don't want to pass you up. Because sometimes when God brings people in your life, that is the biggest regret.
Yeah.
That will haunt you to the rest.
Let me ask you this.
Your life.
Have you ever thought in our journey together that you wish you would have went another way? You're like, damn, she got my nerves. What would life look like if we weren't together no more? You ever thought about that?
I'll tell you. I
have.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Hey, I thought you was going to say I have.
No, this is the reason why I haven't. Because...
Sorry.
You made me to be the man that I am today.
Oh, my God.
The husband.
I agree. And I think definitely you have done me justice.
So I have not really... Now, have I pondered...
I would say our life choices together have been like, damn, should we have came to New York? That's been my biggest thing. Like, what does life look like?
But is Lord led here?
I agree. But my thing is, what if I would have stuck to my guns and be like, let's go back home, and went back home? What would that have looked like?
Oh, we probably feel
I guess. I would have never, I take it back, never second guess being with you, but just the choices that we have made in our 17 years.
So what again? Never second guess being with this?
No. This is the R&B in the background.
Yeah, black preachers got it going on.
Oh, Lord.
This church is giving me some good luck today.
Some R&B vibe.
All right. No, but but seriously.
Gospel.
Yeah. And let's talk about what caused these regrets. Let's go into that. One of that several factor that he gave that caused some of these regrets.
Cause people to regret their decisions.
Runs into inaction, right? Deciding not to pursue something that generates more regrets. And that is so true. When you know what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, and yet I remember I got a call from my PhD at Walden University. And I said to myself, okay, if I don't jump on this opportunity, 5 years, it took me 5 years to complete the degree. I'm thinking, okay, if I don't do it in 5 years, I'm going to regret it. And I jump on it. Because think about it, 5 years not doing anything, keep doing what I'm,
I would say just doing the degree, not within 5 years. I don't think that it was the time frame. It was just the degree itself, right?
Well, the degree, they say it take more than 5 years, 5 or 7 years to complete. But the point is that, the point is that if I didn't pursue it, what would happen within those 5 years if I didn't pursue it? So there may be a regret, because regret tend to generate more regret when you don't pursue.
Are you regretful because you didn't do it?
No, I didn't do it because at that time, the Lord was doing a big shift to bring me right back into the ministry. But I still got my doctorate though.
Yeah, and something different.
Something different.
I think is pretty cool.
Right. And so, it generates. And he went on to say this is a particular for males, especially when it comes to romantic relationship, saying that if only I had asked her out, we might now be happily married.
Next. We never talked about that.
We just talked about that.
That girl who.
And then second one is a poor decision produces greater regrets when it's harder to justify.
Yeah.
Those decisions in retrospect mean I really value my friends and family, so why did I leave them all behind to take up that overseas jobs?
I wanna go back to your statistics when you were saying that the lady interviewed the older people.
Right.
And one of the things was they regretted being somebody else that they weren't, or finding ways to be happy. And I've said this on a few times. Maybe it was our grief series, or if it was our suffering with purpose series. I'm again 43. I'm not gonna keep saying it, but I just have to make a point. Not until maybe a year ago, I feel like I'm actually who I was born to be. And I've been a daughter, I've been even a mom, I've been a wife, I've been a pastor's wife. I did all these things with the expectation that this is how I have to act. This is who I have to be in order to make it fit, right? To make it work. And I was miserable. I was god awful miserable.
And then you find
and then at some point last year, I think it just really clicked. Like, I'm tired of trying to be everything for everybody else and not make myself happy. And happiness is really a larger conversation. But what does that look like? I can't rely on Pedro to make me happy, right?
So what?
I love you, but I can't. And
sexiness right here.
Please have several seats.
Oh my god! Oh, this
one down. I had to figure it out myself.
Girl,
even though you supplied me with everything that I've needed up to this point, I still
was. You've just not been touching me too much.
Even though you supplied me with everything I need, I still suffered in silence because I wasn't happy with myself. And so I said, you know what? Get your ass
powerful
up.
Right there. That's
get up,
powerful.
Lose weight. Get up, work out. So be happy with yourself.
And guys, I was so tired of hearing her.
Get up and figure out what you want to do with your life. Let that job at Mercy go because it wasn't benefiting you.
Mercy.
You weren't happy with it.
Mercy.
It helped.
You need to change your name.
But they didn't do anything that I needed to do.
Mercy. You need to change your name from Mercy.
I don't know. I think I got to cut off the lie because you're a pastor's wife, and I felt like I had to fit inside this box.
But I told you this.
You've always said, don't ever be what people expect. I hear that every time in your head, and you've always said you're never. I never want you to think that you have to look a certain way or be a certain way to be my wife or to be a pastor's wife. But in my head, in Black culture, I got stuck on that. And all that to say is, I just figured out what I want to do, and I know I've hoped that you've had those kind of epiphanies. As a result, look, I got my news pierced because that's what I wanted to do, and I didn't really care what other people thought about it. I've had many hairstyles, right, that we've been together, and I started to like my hair up.
I like the peacock hairstyle.
With the mohawk, that was amazing.
Yeah, the red and. But anyway.
But I'm going to jobs. I'm having speaking engagements, looking like my full self. And happy with it.
You gotta be who God has created you to be.
My exterior doesn't negate my education or my experience, but if I'm not happy with what I look like on the inside and the outside, it's not going to benefit anybody.
But here's the thing, though,
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, most men.
Sometimes us as moms, and this is another conversation, we want to do everything for everybody else, and we don't satisfy ourselves. We don't have our self-care. And so it's important. You gotta cook the chicken. You gotta make sure kids are happy. But you're an empty vessel if you're not filling yourself up to help other people, right? Yeah. You always say it as a pastor. You're preaching, you're giving, you're out there, you're visiting. But then who's pouring back into your cup?
That's right, nobody. You baby, you pouring my.
I mean, come on, tilt that cup so I can fill it up.
Fill my cup, Lord.
Fill your cup.
Fill it up.
But what do you think about that? Have you ever thought that you've had to be somebody else for the sake of it, or have you not been your most authentic self?
Growing up in Jamaica, I had an accident, and this accident really has helped to affect my speech in some extent.
Yeah.
Pronunciation, and had a broken jaw and a broken left hand at the same time. Didn't know that my jaw was broke until I came here. But anyway, that kind of brought some kind of challenges in my life. But I remember in school, and people say things to me, and I told myself that I want to be this, I want to be that, and so I can be valued in society and around my peers. But I didn't know what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a historian. I love history.
think that's the coolest thing. You said that a few times.
Yeah, I wanted to be. I do love history,
Mhm.
and so I want to project myself in a way that people will um,
I wanted to be a rock star.
value me, so to speak. But I tell you, when I come to know Christ, it's like all of that has
Yeah.
pressure have left me, and even though I still have some challenges with my saying pronouncing word, I don't let that affect me
Mm-hmm.
as much because I know what God has called me for. Because that's why I read Jeremiah that He knew me, He sanctified me,
Mm-hmm.
and He ordained me. I tell you, that's enough for me. If God put His stamp of approval upon my life with some challenges, I'm going forward.
So if you don't, and I think we talked about that too, if you weren't in the ministry, you would be an historian.
Oh yes, because that was my goal. Because I went to St. John.
Okay.
The goal was I was going to BMCC, but I was not coming to college, and found out that St. John had my studies.
So what were you studying before you went to seminary?
Black history, political science. Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
My news.
Just your incessant amount of just news hoarding, and then Zola is very captivated by political science and news as well.
Yeah.
So
so if I wasn't doing that, that's why I try to now and then read up a little bit on history just to keep and listen to the news, as my wife said.
But for people who haven't had that call, and I feel like when you get the call, you know exactly what you're doing in some capacity. But for others, we don't know that. Like, I'm just figuring that out. And if I'm honest, I'm still figuring that out. I don't know what I want to do.
And let's go to the third one.
You have to really do that.
Right. Loss of opportunities.
You have to double back because we've had a whole conversation about something. So what do you?
I'm not talking about some of the several factors that cause regrets.
Okay.
Right. So loss of opportunities. Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the regrets I had, I tell you, is pondering this sometime. Imagine I almost joined the army twice.
Ooh, so did I.
And I left. And I wish somebody would have told me ahead of time about the GI Bill.
Yeah. I wish I would have been a vet.
Sure. I wish somebody would have told me that.
I would love for you to have been in the military.
How about the quality and the benefit of that? So when I see people, come out of the army, they got the GI Bill, it helped them tremendously. And I said, wow. And I'm sorry, I regret it now. I mean, I could be in a house.
Yeah.
My own house. But things happen for a reason. But
what else you got?
Loss of opportunities. And the last one is, it mentioned, it said, most enduring regrets in life result from decisions that move you further from the ideal person you want to be.
Oh, well, this is exactly what I was talking about. Being what other people think that you are. Another regret I would say is, I wish you would have. No.
What people wanted to be. But what you want, the ideal person that you want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but being somebody else for the sake of people assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because people always bombard me. You should do this. You should do that. You should do that. I'm thinking, no. I'm doing what God has called me to do.
Exactly. It goes along with what our vision board says. This year, it's by invitation only. We're only inviting in the things that we need, the people that we need, the situations that we want. Everything else doesn't matter.
All right.
Everything else doesn't matter.
And then it's example to give right here. He said, I want to be a role model, but I couldn't put the wine bottle down.
Yikes.
So the wine bottle dominate this lost opportunity. And let's be honest. Yeah. But then again, being in those type of environments, sometimes you just don't know, right, how to balance that out.
Yep.
And those situations, as you said, you see people who have situation in their life, and we see them out there, you just don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
But now that we have the blood moving to our vein, pumping to our vein, and now that we are alive, okay, we recognize what if.
Okay, so let's end. I got two questions that I want us to address as we're talking about just, are you doing what you were made for? So my first question for you is, do you feel that you're walking in your purpose?
Oh, yes, I am. Oh, I love the Word of God. as my wife told me before we get on, and said, "You better talk low because you're in Bible study.
Oh my God. He talks in Bible study. Everybody on the second floor can hear what he's saying. But when we come to podcasts, I'm like, speak up.
Yeah, speak up. But when it comes to the word of God, I'm passionate about God's word. My voice goes up.
And it's already going down.
I know it's going down. Bring back up. Right? So, but I'm walking into the purpose that God has called me into.
Now, here it is. Let's not mistake that walking in your purpose looks different than your actual current position. And sometimes we get that mixed up. Because do you think that your current position is your purpose? That sometimes can get conflated, right?
Right, it can get conflated, right.
And so I think that where you are today is actually the end of
and where I wanted to be, right? Because as I said, when they interview me, within 5 years, I want to see myself in this position as a senior pastor, stuff like that. And I still do see myself going towards that. And so that's my goal, because God really brought me to a place where I can find my purpose in Christ. I love to preach, not because I love to preach the word of God, but I want to see life change. I want people's lives to be changed. I believe I'm walking in that purpose that God has called me to do.
Right.
Regardless of my deficiency, I'm still not letting my deficiency prevent me. Matter of fact, it propelled me more to fulfill what God has called me to do. What about you?
Do I feel like I'm walking in my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I've just recently discovered, maybe not recently, but since I've started teaching, I love
teaching.
I never saw that as my path, ever. I wanted to be a million things. One of the statistics is most people have at least 12 different jobs, right, in their lifetime. 12 different jobs in their lifetime? I've had probably that times.
She may be from Jamaica.
So, I mean, not at the same time.
She may be from the Highlands, you all.
Not at the same time, so I don't work that hard. But
12 jobs? You know that's island mentality.
Definitely consecutively, I've had more jobs.
Are you sure you're from Jamaica? Right now.
I do feel like I'm getting close. And my friend group really helps me to see that.
Getting close to what? To be a Jamaican?
No. To walk in my purpose. Because they've seen where I started. And they say, you know what, this makes sense for you. This is what lights up your life. This is what you can talk
about. That's true.
Till the end, and you never get tired of doing it.
I tell her this, yeah. I keep telling her this, but I don't know if she's listening.
And let me get to my next one. So I think I'm getting there.
You getting there?
I think I'm finally in my 40s. I'm just getting there. So I cannot wait to the 50s.
Better get there so I can bring some money.
So I know. I'm broke walking in my purpose.
You have a broke purpose. Broke?
Purpose ain't broke. My purpose ain't broken. My purpose is solid.
Correction.
But I'm broke walking in my purpose, right?
Nah, don't say much you're broke.
Money wise.
No.
I need some money. But here we go. Here's my last question though. Looking back at your 21-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? Looking with the advice you have now, what would you tell your 21-year-old self to get to where you are today?
Stop being stubborn.
You can tell your 51-year-old self that as well. If you were stubborn at 21, Lord have mercy.
I was obstinate as you are growing up. Wow. I was so stubborn.
When I didn't meet you back then.
And I was so stubborn. I think I have improved.
You have. That's what I'm saying. It had to be definitely worse back then. But what would you say? That would be your major advice to your younger self?
Be around people who are resourceful. People who want you to succeed. And if that would I advise my younger self. Be around people. Find people who are resourceful, but unfortunately, if you don't know what you don't know, you don't know.
Which is unfortunate because you should know, right?
Yeah. You should know.
If I had to look back at my younger self and give advice to my 20-year-old self, I would say just keep going. Just keep going, Frankie. Don't get sidetracked. You are worth it. You are valuable. And
look to the cross.
I mean, that would be like my 40-year-old self telling my 30-year-old self that, but not my 20-year-old self that.
You're gonna look to the cross.
I would just say, it's gonna get better.
It's gonna get better.
Don't look at what other people have.
It's gonna get
walk
better.
in your purpose.
Amen.
And you'll eventually
Amen.
get there.
It's gonna get better. We're gonna look to the cross.
We'll look to the cross. Look to the cross.
Look to the cross, because when we continue to look to the cross,
Mm-hmm.
God will never disappoint us.
And I was just looking at you looking to the cross, I'm looking to my watch because I get motivational quotes. And one just popped up that says, "You are enough."
Woo! You are
Enough.
enough, and that's it. You are enough, not extra.
A little bit extra.
No,
But you're enough.
you are enough.
You don't have to be extra because you are
That's
enough.
it. You don't have to be extra. If you get extra, you spoil yourself. You spoil your vision. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
So thank you. Let's make this a little bit of a real life series.
Right,
And just
real
talk
life
about real
series.
things that are happening.
And please, if you have any,
know,
any question, observation,
Mhm.
hook us up.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
And we encourage you, to look back at
subscribe,
our
look back.
former series about grief.
Yeah,
and
grief. Yeah.
Suffering in your purpose. And what are some solutions to your New Year's resolutions?
Amen.
Are you still working out like you said you was in January? Nope. You healthy? You getting healthier? Nope.
And guys, I tell you,
I'm praying yes.
Right, we're gonna wrap it up by saying, church folks be talking. Thank you. I'm sick and tired of my dollar cup. Let's get this cup right here.
Yeah.
Get this.
Well, you could have just poured the coffee in the cup.
Well, he didn't tell me to pour it in.
You're a bad prop guy.
Listen, next time I'll be
You're fired.
extra.
Okay,
I'll be fine.
This one hurt.
All right. Well, next time we get it right.
Just clank it.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right, guys. Have a
God
good
bless you.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.